one and only Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Selling that idea that real men eat meat.
Serious man food.
But you got to understand, that's marketing.
When I made the switch to a plant-based diet, I qualified for my 3rd Olympic team. I broke 2 American records.
One of the biggest misconceptions in sports nutrition is that we have to have animal protein to perform at a high level.
This is going to wake a lot of people up.
This was our best season in the last 15 years, and we had 14 guys on plant-based diets.
We all want to feel great, have more energy.
Cholesterol was 276. Today, 169.
Whoa, now you're talking.
Most guys my age can keep up with the grandchildren. My grandchildren can't keep up with me.
Today we're going to be talking about the recent film, The Game Changers.
I am not anti-plant-based, but the Game Changers documentary does everybody a disservice.
There's a really good chance that you can be healthy and you can have a very productive long life if you choose to be a vegetarian or a vegan.
If you do happen to go vegan, but do it in an unhealthy or an unplanned way, you could actually do serious harm to your body.
Hi, I'm James Wilkes, and I pretended to make a film about me going on a journey to discover a plant-based diet.
Well, here's a question for you. What do Formula One ace Lewis Hamilton, tennis star Venus Williams, former US President Bill Clinton, and the singer Erykah Budd all have in common? Well, they've embraced veganism.
So should we all be going vegan?
So, all this information about diets and what is good for you and what is not, who knows what to believe? I know I don't. So there's only one way for me to find out. I'm going to go on a whole foods plant-based diet for up to 8 months. It's time to veganize me.
Just a sharp scratch.
Yeah. The thing that's going to be really hard for me is stopping cow's milk. I love my milk. I probably drink about 2 pints a day. So I always have lots of Weetabix as well. Generally have 4 Weetabix. And about a pint of milk. Why am I putting the Weetabix in the fridge? The only way for me really to make a proper informed decision about this was to try it for myself. I'm not overweight. I say I'm a personal trainer. I eat healthily as in accordance with sort of government guidelines. So I, plenty of fruit and veg, not loads of meat. I eat fish, cereals, get my calcium from my milk, and I would be seen as being on a healthy diet. So it'll be interesting just to see, going to a complete whole food plant-based diet, whether I'm going to see any significant changes. We're coming to the city of Norwich, and you may not know, but Norwich was recently voted the most vegan-friendly city in the UK, beating the likes of Brighton, Manchester, London. So we're going to go and speak to a few members of the public, and we're going to get their take on it. What are your thoughts on this plant-based diet, sort of veganism type thing?
I've not really. A couple of my friends have actually done it in the past, and they're all for it. I think everyone has their own opinion on what they want to eat. I don't really know enough about it. I just think it seems as though it's quite an expensive way of eating. I think there isn't enough out there for it to be commonplace at the moment.
How hard do you think I'm going to find it moving from meat-based to plant-based diet?
You can even get like vegan meat now that tastes like real meat anyway, so it's even nicer than real meat. So it's going to be pretty easy to be fair.
I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no deputy. I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot no.
Presume you've heard of veganism?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and what's your sort of thoughts on that sort of diet, or?
Well, I do eat
vegetables, obviously, but I'm not a total vegan. What I don't like about veganism is the pressure that it put on people to be vegan. You know, like you've got all these people now, they want meat banned. You know, they want to ban meat. What's going to happen to all the animals, the cows, the sheep, the pigs, if they ban it? What's going to happen to the land if they're not on there grazing? When you speak to farmers, they say to the people, this land is only good for grazing. We can't grow crops on it.
And they say it is a capital offense. Sheriff John Brown always hated me.
You can be a lot healthier, and when you wake up, generally, it's just like you feel more brighter, your eye cells are more brighter. So for me, I found it very helpful to me in order to get fit and lose weight as well, because I personally, what experienced was I was eating meat, I was slightly slow, but then my body was aching majority of the time.
What's your diet at the moment?
It's fairly mixed, I'd say.
Yeah.
I do eat meat, but I try to reduce it as much as I can, so I don't cook it for myself, I don't buy it in the supermarket, but when I eat out, then I treat myself and then I don't.
Is that the only time you eat meat then?
Yes, when I eat out. Or when I go to my parents' house. The only strong views I have is people pushing it on you. I don't agree with that, but if people think it's healthier, give it a go, it's worth a try.
Would you do it yourself?
No.
Why not?
I need my meat. I'm a proper meat eater. I love my animals, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't survive.
What do I think about plant-based diet? I think it's worth trying. Health, environment, and animal welfare. You know, there's tons of evidence online, on YouTube if you look to see how animals are mistreated. And there's also tons of medical studies these days that show you're not lacking anything if you transfer to a plant-based diet. You can be just as healthy. My 10-year-old son is vegan as well. So we've looked into it quite carefully.
How do you think I'm going to find it? Do you think I'm going to find it difficult?
Well, when you look at people that are on it, I think they're promoting it as an easier way of doing it because there's the information there. But I think you need to find the information, you need to find the recipes. That's the hardest part, is getting the recipes in the first place.
So what about health benefits? Do you think there's any health benefits to it?
I suppose so, yeah. I do think that eating lots of red meat, for example, is bad for your health, but I think my choice doesn't really come from a health perspective, but more the environmental one.
But people are happy to take multivitamins or often take medication because of the diet they've lived on for decades, but they object to taking, say, a supplement on a vegan diet. Well, you're so much more healthy on a vegan diet, even if you have to take one supplement.
Do you think I'm going to find it tough?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I'm not going to lie, I don't think it's an easy thing to do. I think you'll find it hard. I couldn't do it.
I've had the results come back. I sent them off to Medichecks and they checked about 57 markers, I think it is. And they describe it as a health check that covers everything from basics to a deep dive into hormones and nutrition. And that's what I wanted to check, be able to check my nutrition and see whether going from a healthy meat-based diet to a healthy vegan diet. Things I wanted to really focus on were, first of all, cholesterol status. When people try these diets, or any diet, or you go to the doctor, normally one of the biggest concerns is cholesterol. Now mine is slightly high, only slightly high. So I've got total cholesterol of 5.7. My LDLs are quite high, which are the bad cholesterol. HDLs are good, which are the good cholesterol. Now I know in the past when I've had my cholesterol tested, it's been a bit higher than 5.7, it's been 6.5, I suppose, something like that. So, but I always thought I did eat healthily. And obviously on the vegan diet, we'll see whether that makes any difference to that. One of the things that normally gets highlighted with a vegan diet is the lack of B12, or the concern over the lack of B12. Now, my range here is good. It's at 146, so it's on the upper half of that. So we'll be able to compare that. Vitamin D, again, that's another concern, but that's probably a concern for most diets anyway, because of the lack of sun in this country. And vitamin D is 60.5, which is within range. So overall, my blood tests were fine. This has given me a good benchmark in which to test 8-9 months down the line, you know, whether this vegan diet is going to be good for me, or whether it's going to be bad for me, or whether it's going to be indifferent, I suppose. It's going to be one of those three, really. See how we get on.
So it's the 23rd of November, and in the morning I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be plant-based. So tonight I'm having my last steak with an egg on top and some mushrooms and some broccoli. So quite some healthy stuff, but gosh, steak. It's all cooked. Have a look at that, look. Nice egg on top of my steak, mushrooms, some broccoli and spring onions. Do you know what? I haven't had a lovely steak for a little while. It's quite rare. Last one. It's so good, I can't talk. Not properly anyway. That's melting in my mouth. No more of them for a while.
Today, it started, and it's the first day, just woke up. And then plant-based. Plant-based, whole foods diet. Wish me luck. So I've just done my first shop. I went to Asda for this one. Other supermarkets are available. And I didn't go with a shopping list. I think I spent about 55 quid. Got some dairy-free pure sunflower oil. Not oil, spread. Dairy-free sunflower spread. We got the veg there. Now, I can't remember what those are. That's moolie or something. But I'll eat anything. We got some fruit there. Got some blueberries and some grapes and some bananas. I eat bananas anyway. Veg. Some sweet potatoes, some carrots. And I bought a load of beans. I bought some tins of beans stuff, black-eyed beans and American style bean mix, some coconut milk and stuff like that. Some whole wheat pasta. Some brown rice. I've got some packet rice as well, but for convenience, and just check the ingredients on them, make sure there's no meat or dairy products in them, which is fine. And then some nuts. So it's day 3 of plant-based diet, and to be honest, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm starving.
Yes.
Absolutely starving. I had Weetabix this morning, 4 Weetabix this morning for lunch. I had a sort of a salady based meal, and nuts and seeds and fruit and all good stuff. And I had 2 bananas this morning as well, but I'm starving, so I need to go and get something to eat. So I popped into Tesco to get a meal deal. I needed to get something quick so I can get back to work. But there wasn't much choice really. Mainly meat-based stuff or cheese-based stuff. Couple of options, not much. So I've gone for the spicy bean with cheese. Oh my lord. See, I've just noticed I've got spicy bean with cheese, so I've messed up. I need to swap that. Didn't even notice that. I managed to change it. Just changed it for a hummus-based snack. So it's day 4, and I haven't really been preparing very well in terms of my food, and well, I haven't really researched much. I did soak some chickpeas the other night in water, and I'm cooking them off now, but I'm just wondering why I've got all this white scummy stuff around the pan. I don't know if that's normal or what. Okay, so I've done my cooking, and in the end I put in the chickpeas and the peppers, the mushrooms. I put half a tin of chopped tomatoes in there, and some mixed nuts, and some beans as well. I can't remember what beans they were now, but some beans, these beans. These beans here, I don't know what they are, but so I'll put them in as well. And a bit of salt and pepper, and some turmeric, and a tiny little bit of soy sauce as well. So that's what I've got. It looks all right. Good thing about me is I'll eat absolutely anything, always have. But I'm going to save it up and we'll see what it's like. Now, to be fair, that doesn't look too bad. I haven't tasted it yet, so it looks quite nice with the greenery. Do you know what? That's all right. That is all right. There's quite a few flavours in there. I got the turmeric in because I like to go add some spices anyway. I think obviously spices are good for you. It looks all right. Tastes all right. I don't think I want to win MasterChef, but I'm not trying to.
So what is it about vegans and that literally, why won't they eat anything like what's been alive?
Well, I'm doing it because I want to see whether there are health benefits to it based upon sort of this research, and I've got no preconceptions of what I'm going to be like. I just want to. That's the whole idea of trying this sort of experiment for 8 months, of just seeing how it goes and seeing whether, from the blood counts and things, whether there are improvements, whether I feel better, whether I feel worse. I don't know.
Well, as you probably know, go on.
So that's why.
So as you probably know, as you've probably seen, that the blood runs clearer before you eat meat. It goes a bit cloudy after eating meat.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Do you know what that is, or?
I presume that's the sort of cholesterol in the blood there.
Mm.
So,
interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, I can do it, each to their own. I respect people that do it. It's just, I like my bacon sandwich too much. You know what I mean? And if you tell me I can't have a turkey at Christmas time for Christmas dinner, it's an odd one, isn't it? Chestnuts, turkey.
a hard one, trying to stay plant-based with you eating meat and all your eggs and what have you.
Okay, here's one for you. So obviously with you into your training and things like that, you know, for athletic purposes and stuff like that, are you getting enough amino acids in plant-based? I don't know, I might be wrong, but I seem to believe personally that you'll never get the amount of amino acids your body needs from plants than you will from meat.
Well, obviously I can't answer that question scientifically, can I? I don't know, that's why I'm trying this. I mean, obviously these things are supposed to be good for protein, aren't they?
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good, yeah. I got a friend who's all vegan, plant-based, probably heard of him, Paul Curtin, he's all plant-based, and he looks great, you know what I mean? So it's each to their own, isn't it? It's just, you know, I'm not arguing the facts of any of it, you know, what like I say, each for their own, but I don't think I could do it personally. I don't know, I'm just used to, I like my meat.
So my partner Gemma was researching nutrition for health. She suffers with autoimmune thyroid disease. And so she was looking like, is there a way to help treat that, you know, with nutrition? And she came across the idea of whole foods, plant-based nutrition. So whole grains, legumes, fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds. And it seems like the more of those that we eat and the less animals and the less processed junk that we eat, just the better our health outcome. One of the books she read was called The China Study. And it was, there was one particular graph in there, and it showed affluent countries on the left and then poor countries on the right. So far left was America, to the right Laos, Cambodia, Thailand. The red lines were deaths from heart disease, cancer, and the green lines was percentage of whole plant foods in the diet. So with America it was like 6% whole plant foods. Towards Cambodia, Laos, Thailand it was getting towards 100%. And then these red lines, as I say, deaths from these chronic illnesses, a total inverse relationship. And I thought, can I swear?
Yeah.
I thought, fuck. I was eating 500 grams of animal protein every day. I was eating more animals than anyone I've ever come across.
Hey, it's vegan personal trainer and nutritionist Paul from Hench Herbivore. And if you're looking to optimize your health or sports performance with a plant-based diet, this is the video for you.
When you sort of first went plant-based then, was it your idea to sort of move on to sort of promote it this way, or did you just sort of fall into it?
It just happened. I was the last person to be doing this because I had low self-confidence, and just slowly over time, you know, it just kind of naturally grew. And yeah, and now it's my living, it's my purpose, and we've had over 5 million views, and most days I'll get a message from someone saying, I've got off my diabetes medications, my husband, like he's not got high blood pressure anymore, and just thank you for showing me that we don't have to hurt animals, and it's a beautiful feeling.
Last summer at age 44, I was the most ripped I've ever been. I had razor sharp abs. The number one thing people say about a vegan diet, where do you get your protein? You need meat for protein. My argument, why am I twice your size then?
I mean, the last year or so, I noticed that your profile's it seems to have been raised up quite a lot more, hasn't it?
Yeah, I've done a few bits with sort of mainstream media, BBC, joe.co.uk, they have about 10 million followers, kind of men's interest stuff. Yeah, I've been very lucky. I even got to speak on the BBC World Service. That was the time when Arnie was saying we need to eat less meat for the sake of the environment. And my training partner at the time was Mr. Barney Duplessis. Yeah. He was the reigning Mr. Universe bodybuilder. He happened to come to my gym, and he just started asking me about the vegan thing. And he was really interested. There was no judgment. And I walked away and I thought, wow, like this real kind of meathead bodybuilder, and he's interested. And came back in the gym the next day, and he said, Paul, I'd be a fucking hypocrite if I didn't go vegan, so I'm vegan now,
and do you want to be my training partner? So I spent 6 months training with the reigning Mr. Universe. It feels to me like this is my life's mission, and I've just had so much sort of, is the word serendipity, like just synchronicities that I'm following this path and everything falls into place, and it's like the universe conspires to help you when you're on your path. So I don't even worry too much. I just know that it's, yeah, whatever happens, it's all gonna grow and just be amazing, and I'm just having fun.
What I'm going to put in, I'm going to put a little bit of turmeric in. Tiny bit of turmeric. Just get some.
Well, I drink a lot of turmeric.
Get a lot of get some spices in me, and let's see how we get on with that. Are we ready? See what it looks like. So, there you go.
Looks like it just come out of a drain pipe.
What do you think, Mason? Does that look disgusting?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. But it might be alright.
It's really nice.
Does that make you feel like a new man?
To be fair, in your opinion, am I getting a lot of goodness in me there?
Yeah, it's all
From all the ingredients,
it's all natural, you know. You can walk again. It's a miracle. Yeah. It's great. No, it's all good, to be fair.
Do you want to try a bit, Mason?
Nah, you're alright.
Go on, you try a bit. Hang on. So Mason's going to try a bit.
Well, I guess I am now, yeah.
Hang on. Give me the camera.
Do you want me to get ready on the phone to A&E for you?
Yeah, have him on standby.
On standby, like.
So, colour, Mason, let's have a look.
I mean, it smells like bananas, so. Crunchy.
What do you reckon? Well, it's a bit, yeah, it's crunchy. It's got a bit of nuts in it, hasn't it? But what do you reckon?
It's fine, yeah.
Do you think I could sell that?
No.
Still getting quite hungry, and I think the problem is I'm not planning enough. So what I've done is I've come along to open at Norwich, and they've got a vegan fair on today. So hopefully I'm going to see if I can get some, you know, some inspiration from what they've got to offer. So you're doing fish and chips, are you?
Fish and chips, satay, skewers, and a V-dog, battered V-dog.
Another fish, please.
There we go. So what's in that then?
It's soya and pea protein, potato starch, and on the back, nori seaweed on the back. And then we refrigerate it for 24 hours, and then you either freeze it or we bring it for sale, and then just batter it. Is it a V-dog now?
And is it quite popular?
Very popular. Very, very popular. It's about 35% protein. Really good.
Quite a few of the businesses in Norwich are now run by original Norwich Vegan members that started off when we did a pop-up shop and lots of small things, and then the demand just grew, and of course here the stalls, we've got over 55 stalls, and it's just amazing.
I lived in Australia for 5 years until 3 years ago, and that's when we started the company, because vegan over there is huge. So when I came back, I went completely vegan and started this.
So I'm 2 weeks into my diet.
Yeah.
How hard am I going to find it anymore?
I think you'll find it really easy. I think things have changed a lot. My kids were vegetarian from birth, so they're now 25, 17 and 22. I think supermarkets have cottoned on to the fact there's a huge vegan market, and if you look, there is loads of vegan stuff to eat.
Okay, I'll try the gingerbread then, yeah? So here we go, gingerbread.
It is an infusion of lots of flavours. There's not just ginger, it's also cinnamon. There's some cloves in there that give it a little bit of a lift and a kick.
Cloves will give it a kick, won't they? I just got the cloves.
Got a bit of cloves.
Jessica has been a baker for 25 years, and we went vegan 4 years ago. And she converted everything over from what would have been with eggs and butter, and slowly and surely transformed all the recipes. And I would say they taste better the way they are now. Just spread the vegan love, I think is the way to put it. You know, we don't try and bash people with it. Just tell them this is how good it can be. So,
are you finding this becoming more popular?
It's grown hugely. We've been vegan 4 years. Just in that time, we've seen this exponential rise in the number of people. And I think also it's not just people that are becoming vegan. There are a lot of people that are just cutting down the amount of meat they're eating.
Whatever this 8 months brings, I think it's going to be quite important for me to establish whether there are some major health benefits to sort of this diet, and obviously with the stroke being a blockage in terms of you know, problems with circulation to the brain, and a clot as a result of, you know, it might be a bad diet or those sort of things. That exercise I do, and good diet are obviously paramount in sort of our health. And if nothing else, if I can find that out for myself in terms of how it affects me, then at least I can honestly sort of give that information or depart that information to others that I know, sort of like my kids and what have you, and sort of try and encourage them to sort of think about what they're putting inside their bodies, really. So yeah, sort of makes you reflect.
Hi, what can I get for you today?
Yeah, hi there. Have you got any vegan options?
We have the veggie deluxe or the veggie wrap.
Right. Have they got any dairy in them?
I will just have a look for you.
Okay, thank you.
If you come to the window, we can sort that out for you.
Right, okay, thank you. Hiya.
So the goujons themselves are vegan.
The goujons are vegan, yeah.
Goujons are vegan, yeah, and the wraps are as well. So it has, I wouldn't say the burger is, because it has mayo in it.
All right, well,
you get it without mayo.
If the wrap's vegan, that's fine. Whatever's vegan, yeah. Can I have that with chips and is that meal? Yeah. Yeah, and a coffee, please.
And what, sorry?
Black coffee, please. It's interesting because when I went to I tried McDonald's the other day, just desperate for something to eat, and I asked about vegan option then, and they never mentioned the wrap. They just said about the veggie burger, so which had mayo in, which obviously got milk based. But apart from that, I think it was just that was just the thing that made it non-vegan. So I just said don't bother with the mayo. So I spoke to that girl there, and she's saying that they do get asked quite a lot. So
Not many options though. Not from Mr. Clown, McDonald's, Ronald McDonald's. Got some cold chips. Lettuce, of course.
And I shall furnish you with an apron for the evening.
What is agar?
So agar is seaweed, basically. So, put that in.
For your smoothie in the morning.
Sometimes I do actually put chili in as well, occasionally, yeah. I turn it upside down and do the other bit. I was only at the dentist yesterday, that's reminding me too much. It is, it just sounds like the dentist all over again. You got it? Thank you.
Chili into there.
Got a slightly delicate mouth though, yes, because I went to the dentist yesterday. And while I was under, he decided to pull a wisdom tooth out.
What's the best vegan thing you've come across?
Best vegan thing? I love a curry. So is anyone planning to go vegan?
No.
No.
Did you say managed to or one?
Planning to?
No.
I'd like to, but I just most of it.
Would you move from vegetarian to vegan then?
Well, you know, I really like cheese.
Do you? Yeah, it's a lot of people's problem is cheese, isn't it? They look like Nigella seeds, don't they?
Black onion seeds are Nigella seeds.
It's the same thing, is it? Yeah. Oh, there you go. Because I've used Nigella seeds, I didn't know that was black onion seeds. There we go. Nigella seeds. I must sound like I know what I'm on about. Get shot at that one.
Too late.
Do you want half?
And it'll start to dry out on the top.
Just come back from the doctors. I went for a blood test about a week or so ago. Just getting some basics done like cholesterol and white blood count, red blood count, that sort of thing. And well, I went for a printout and they've given me a printout of my results. So I'll have a look now, see how it's going. That page looks all right. There's no normality on that. Is all good. Cholesterol. There you go. I don't know if you can see that, but my cholesterol is above range again. It's at 5.3. Range is 3.6 to 5. It's not massively above, but I think if I remember rightly last time, before I started, it was 5.4. Yeah, I was eating what is seen as a healthy diet then, but I was meat eating, so I'd expected it would have come down probably more than that.
So what have your friends and family, what have they said? How have they reacted to you switching to this diet?
Friends and family, how have they reacted to the diet? Well, my sister went, "You what? You gone vegan?" Well, plant-based whole foods. I think she thinks our fads
So that was a bit of a funny reaction. It's quite funny when I went up to my mum's, because she sort of doesn't really understand. And she says, I haven't got any of that stuff in that you might need. So she says, I don't know what to get in. Which may be a generation thing, I suppose. Physically, I don't feel any different in the 2.5 months I've been on it. However, some people have actually made comments that they thought I've lost weight, or I looked a bit more, not gaunt, but just a bit thinner in the face. But I haven't actually lost weight. So whether I'm still going to the gym, I'm still working out, I feel pretty much the same there. Whether I've just lost a bit of fat, but still maintain my weight, I don't know.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Where have we got to run to?
Alex is definitely having flashbacks now.
Ready, step.
Well, for me, it was just a little bit of an interesting experiment. I suppose part of me was I'd sat on a certain weight and a certain weight loss for a period of time, and then just reached a point where I couldn't shift a little bit of weight that I wanted to shift, and it was trying something a little bit different. And we did, of course, watch the Game Changer, or the Game Changers, which was the film that kind of made us think, well, actually, let's give this a go.
For me, it was was it 3 years ago? 3 years ago, I had a TIA, or suspected TIA, and there was that, and then I found out I had really high cholesterol. So October 17, September 17, something like that, I found out I had cholesterol which was about 9 or 10, which is way too high. Again, it was watching that Game Changers and seeing the fats, and how the fat is in your blood if you're eating with the animal fat compared to the vegetable fat, and me thinking, well, actually, maybe this is another way that I can control my cholesterol, and then come off the statins.
So how did you find the diet to start off with, say, for the first few days, few weeks?
For myself, absolutely no difference at all.
No.
It was a week's transition from meat to all plant, and literally no side effects, no feeling ill, no fatigue, no.
Quite the
if
opposite.
anything, it was more, slightly more energy. It was quite an easy transition.
Yeah.
To be fair.
For me, whilst I love meat, I love bacon. There's just, I absolutely love eating meat. There's no question about that. But I didn't have that much meat in my diet, I suppose, and it wasn't just how it went. So for me, I think it was probably a bit easier. But I think we both saw positive effects from fitness point of view when we almost immediately, within the first couple of weeks, we definitely felt a lot better. So yeah, we didn't find it hard to sort of switch.
I've lost the stone of weight that I wanted to, and I don't think I've lost the muscle mass as a result of that. So for me, I've seen a weight loss benefit, and it's not affected my overall fitness or endurance. So for me, that was kind of the balance, which has worked quite well for me.
For me, it's slightly the opposite. I've probably slightly gained weight, but that's because I had a pretty healthy diet before, and I think that with the vegan diet, I've probably looked for other things.
Crisps, by the sound
Crisps,
of it.
yeah, clearly I've been eating too
Popcorn
many
and
crisps. Yeah, I've clearly still snacking too much.
What advice would you give to people that perhaps are thinking of doing a plant-based diet, vegan diet? What sort of advice would you give them?
Go for it.
Yeah, you've got there's absolutely nothing to lose.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things. If you're going to give it a go, you need to think about what your transitional period is, whether it's going to be long or short. But don't do it all or nothing over a period of time. I definitely suggest that it's definitely worth a go for whatever reasons you've got for trying it, whether it be ethical, whether it be health related, whether it be medical related. I'd definitely give it a go for any of those reasons, or just for your own little social experiment.
Yeah, give it a go and see how you feel.
Results. That's our loading bay. We've got a muslin up there that we share with next door.
Yeah. So today's tofu day.
Tofu day. Yeah. So we're boiling which means going inside you'll need to tongue up.
Oh right, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
I've got to put my equipment on for PPE, isn't it?
Yeah.
Personal protective equipment.
Yep.
So I'll put that on. I've never worn a hairnet before. Well, not in public anyway. Might have worn one for the shower perhaps.
So Lou is another of our team.
Morning, alright.
And I gather you're Mason?
Yes, Mason.
Right. So this is our kind of prep room and cooking area.
Yeah.
So we do tofu boils twice a week in the room there, that's all ready to go. And then we use those boils, the tofu from that. We make the sausage rolls and the pasties and the burgers and the sausages, all plant-based. So the mixes are put together, so what you see there are some of the ingredients for it.
Yeah.
Confidential recipes for that. But we also do cakes and things in here as well. So we make cakes and quiches is the latest thing we're doing. Everything vegan, so it's all plant-based. So we're using a cold grind method. The milk that comes out goes into the boiler. That's taken up to about 96 degrees using the steam wand. So you see it's like a big giant cappuccino thing in there with a sort of steam wand in it. And that gives a more even boil, saves it sticking to the sides or burning, because it's quite liable to do that because of the protein in it. Then when that's ready, it gets pumped up automatically and measured into the 6 saucepans and the carousel there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, there's a measured small dose of the coagulant we use. It's dropped in, it's agitated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. By the time you've got the 6th one done, it's almost ready. Wait a few minutes, and then you start dropping it out into the forming trays. So the pans empty from the bottom into the forming trays at the other side of the machine. They're stacked up. You see a sort of press lid for each forming tray, stack one on the other, and then there's an air compressor, pushes it down, and you have a tray of tofu at the end. Each of those trays will have about 4 kilos, 4.5 kilos of tofu in it.
So what sort of life does it have then, from manufacturing to the table sort of?
So that tofu as a fresh product, we put 7 days on it.
Yeah.
To keep it chilled.
Yeah.
So we probably sell about 10, 15 kilos loose in the shop. People coming in buying the odd cube, 2 cubes.
Yeah.
200, 400, 500 grams.
Obviously, in the last 6 months to a year, there's been a lot of, like I say, you had this documentary come out called Game Changers.
Yeah.
Have you seen an explosion more so in the last sort of 6 to 12 months, or?
It's different, because I think what's happened is, I mean, everybody's seen that, but we were experiencing in Norwich 3-4 years ago. What we were getting at that time was lots of people coming in because they couldn't get vegan products anywhere else.
Right.
So especially Christmas, it was noticeable. We were like an advisory service for parents whose my son, daughter is coming home from university and they've gone vegan. What can I feed them with? And we had God knows how many conversations like that. That first Christmas we opened. But of course, 3 Christmases on, the supermarkets are full of vegan options, so we don't get the same curiosity of people coming in.
Yeah.
So that's the nutritional values.
So that's 100 grams, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you. I've never had fresh tofu before. Never. I've had tofu, but never fresh tofu. So, thanks for this, Steve.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's a very different thing to what you would get in a shop in a packet. It's probably hot at the moment.
Very nice. It actually melts.
Yeah. It's a really different thing, isn't it, to what you...
Yeah. You're going to want to try some, aren't you? Yeah.
It's nice. I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like, I don't know, spongy, but also
melts, doesn't it? About 6 months into this diet, and myself and Jake have decided to come out on the kayak, see if the vegan diet helps with our kayaking skills. And I've settled into it far more, settled into the diet far more. The only thing I found out the other day which was a bit disconcerting was I've been eating corn, not a lot, but when I bought corn I automatically thought that corn was vegan friendly, naively, and I should have been buying vegan corn, because the corn, some of the corn that I bought has got milk. I think it's got milk in it, or egg, one or the other anyway, so it's got some dairy product in it, which I never realised. But it shows you have to be careful in terms of the ingredients of some of the products, especially those that are processed in some way or other. But yeah, apart from that, it's going all right. Settled in, feel about the same, I suppose. And the good thing is I've got Jake doing the doing all the work, which is good.
Partner's just decided to go vegan.
Has he?
Literally for the health reasons.
Yeah.
He wanted to see if it'd be better. Not that he ate rubbish anyway, kind of like yourself.
One of the main concerns for me was my cholesterol, and at the start of the diet it was 5.7, which is a bit over. So it's still above range. It's 5.28, which is only just above range, and my LDLs, which again is a bad cholesterol, are 3.1, and they were 3.55 at the start, so I've come down a little bit, but not a great deal, I suppose. And still slightly above range. And the other thing, one big thing that was of concern, or is highlighted as of concern, is B12. So B12, 150. I've got a note here of, it was 146 when I started before. So, well, it's just above 150 anyway. So, hardly any difference. And that is one of the things that really gets highlighted. You can't get your B12 from a vegan diet, from a plant-based diet. Well, clearly you can. During the diet, did I feel any different? No. Did I feel any worse? No. Any better? No, I don't think I did. People might say, well, that's a bit disappointing. That means nothing then, you know. You've proved nothing. I think I'd like to disagree. As I said before, previous documentaries like Game Changers, when they've done these tests, they've looked at people with really bad diets, put them on a vegan plant-based diet, and they've seen major changes. If you're on a meat-based diet, bad one, and you go to a good, healthy meat-based diet, I would suspect you're going to see quite a lot of changes. One of the concerns from speaking to people is that when you go onto a plant-based diet, you're not going to get your amino acids, you're not going to get your vitamins, you're not going to get your protein, you're not going to get your B12, you're not going to get this, you're not going to get that. Well, clearly, I have. I've gone from a healthy meat-based diet to a healthy plant-based diet, and I've seen very little change. So what have I proven? If you're on a healthy plant-based diet, you can get all your nutrients from that. So it comes down to personal choice. And that might be in terms of welfare or beliefs or whatever reason. That might be because of the potential health benefits, which clearly are still there. My cholesterol came down a little bit. I couldn't argue that it was a major change, but it came down a little bit based upon my healthy meat diet. So it comes down to choice. If you're going to veganise yourself, you're going to be fine. You're not going to be ill, you're not going to be pale, and all the rest of it. Yeah, you might want to get your bloods checked and just make sure you're alright, but your choice. If you want to go vegan, you want to go plant-based, go for it.